Hello and welcome to Inches and Cubes, your Toronto-based Warhammer 40k podcast. As always, it's me, Point and Click Nick.
Space Wolf Nick.
Hi, I'm James.
And enjoy this musical break. All right, we're back with episode 28,
28.
Kill Team.
Hooray!
We're talking about Kill Team. It's a new game. It's fun. What are we drinking?
We are drinking some Bandit. I know you guys have a thing against Bandit, but
I don't think against
Who has a
Bandit.
thing against Bandit?
They
know,
won't
it's
let
just-
more than 6 people sit at a table. This isn't Nazi Germany, it's Canada.
Was that a rule in Nazi Germany?
I think it was.
Um,
I really like Bandit. I like their beers. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a hip space, but this is the Cloud IPA. No copy. Paul would be very happy
yeah.
with this.
Or rolling in his grave because
it's
he hates Bandit.
Quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6.8%. It's not too bitter.
No, it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, it's definitely beer.
Yeah.
That's good.
So here we are, talking about Kill Team.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
missing our 2 normal co-hosts.
I don't know if normal is really the best term for that, but sure.
That's true. We've also got the 2 kittens who are probably going to jump on the table at some point.
Hooray!
And they might talk.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be talking to you about Kill Team. We got the Kill Team books. We've played a lot of Kill Team.
We love Kill
We
Team.
love Kill Team.
Kill Team is our leader. All hail Kill Team.
Yeah, I feel like we'll get into it, but there's definitely a surge of Kill Team interest right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
It's definitely their most popular spin-off game so far.
Yeah. So we'll do a deep dive into it, talk about the mechanics behind it, the fun stuff that happens above the board,
The
and
other
future
bullet
of Kill
points you
Team.
have.
The other bullet points I have written down in front of me that no one ever bothers to follow, and then I get yelled at for insisting people follow. Yes,
Yeah, those ones.
Good.
that's directed at Paul. He's still editing this, even though he's not here.
It's nice when they're not here because we can make fun of them.
It's true. So yeah, we'll start off with hobby progress. James, since you are the newest guest, you've been on the podcast before. I thought we said we'd never having you back.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was the rule.
Yeah, they said they'd never have me back, which means that I never left. If someone could call my family, that'd be great. I'm sure they're worried about me.
Yeah,
Anyways,
just been here the whole time.
yeah, it's been awful. Anyways, for hobby progress, yeah, I'm working on that Stampa because I heard about the rumors for the Orc Codex, which is going to be great. Figuring out upgrade paths for every buggy that I got, and then
What are you using to convert your Stampa? Like,
Don't worry about it. Yeah,
don't worry about it.
yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fun. You'll see. It'll be great.
Okay.
We'll make a day out of it.
Secrets. Yep.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's actually one of the least converted models because it's just got the axe is redone and the shoulder pads are redone, but there's a ton of magnetization and that's really the issue. Anyways, regardless, working on some Kill Team terrain. I did up those barricades that were for Necromunda, but that's a dead game system now. So there you go.
Those are a nice addition.
Yeah.
And then painting up the actual Kill Team because white sucks, man. It's just the worst color.
So what are you doing for your Kill Team?
So it's based off this book called The Night Circus. So it's all black and white, which if anyone out there is thinking about doing a black and white themed army, don't do it, man. It's
Louis just posted some photos for his second Iseldar army that are black and white.
I think
Yeah.
if you did a black and white army, it'd be cool to kind of go a monochrome photograph and not actually just black and white.
yeah, no, that's how you do it. If you look at his army, he's got blue highlights in it,
Yeah.
which is such a good idea. Because if you're looking at just the black and the white, it turns out that to make white interesting is difficult. Because you can do flat white, you can do boring white, no problem. And then your models suck.
What's the story? What's the turquoise? It's just highlights on the black?
Yeah, he watched a bunch of Tron, apparently, and then just went nuts with turquoise bits in the line highlights.
Yeah, I think it's more of the magical aspect of the Eldar was where he put the blue or the teal.
Oh, so it's kind of just an accent.
It's an accent. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
got it.
didn't use the edge, Paul's technique.
Yeah, which again, that's how you make black interesting because it turns out that doing straight black sucks. Yeah.
So you've got a Harlequin
Yep.
art Kill Team.
Yep. I hate them. They're the worst. But yeah. And then really excited for orc stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James, you're just so used to losing that winning games is hurting your soul.
It's more yeah, pretty much. What really hurts my soul is the fact that they're so point and click. I mean, I know you're used to that, but the rest of us here who want to use tactics to win and feel good about it, yeah, it's hard.
So Kill Team.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Cool. Nick, what about you?
Yeah, we're on Hobby Desk still, eh?
We
Yep.
are. James talked for a long time.
Since the last podcast, I have been working on a couple things. So I finished off those, my Deathwatch Kill Teams. They're all oil washed, they're varnished, they're pigmented, they're all done. So
They're amazing.
yeah, thanks, man. I had a lot of fun doing them. So they're all good. And then this weekend spent some time working on a base of a Helldrake, which is a creature caster possessed dragon model. So I spent last week putting it together, green stuffing some of the gaps, filling those. Nice model, but didn't go together the best. I've got another creature caster model, which went together a lot better. And
What do you think that is?
I don't know. I think it's the weird plastic that they use. I mean, it's the detail on it is usually pretty good, but there are parts of it where the plastic doesn't take the detail quite as well. I don't know if that's the sculpt or this kind of toy plastic or more of a harder plastic that they're using.
Yeah.
They're great models. I would still recommend them. It's just that I was a little disappointed with the amount of work I had to put in onto the Possessed Dragon one. But so yeah, put that together, started the basing of that, and then I've been working the past couple days on some laser cut MDF crash spaceship terrain because I want to make a table for next year's Hogtowner.
Nice.
It'll probably be done way before then, but I want to spend some time, make some modular terrain for it. So I got some laser cut MDF, really cool kind of crashed spaceship hulls with some of the interior frame kind of sticking out and whatnot. I'm gonna add some wiring and make it look kind of like it crashed in a desert. Getting a lot of inspiration from what is it? Jakku or in
Jakku?
Yeah.
In episode 7.
Is it kind of like that picture you sent me?
Yeah.
So it's very high sci-fi.
Yep.
It's not like a streamlined spaceship because you wouldn't need a streamlined spaceship in outer space. It's
Still-
just a box.
Yeah,
hard sci-fi. Yeah.
there'll be some streamlinedness to it, but yeah, I'm gonna try to do it up. But I'm pulling a lot of inspiration from crash spaceship in the sand, build up some areas. I wanna really put some interesting aspects to the terrain though, line of sight blocking with perhaps a small infantry based tunnel that goes through it, so you can interact with it in different ways, right? So that there's still. I just want to add some unique aspects to kind of each little modular piece. So
Awesome.
Been on the terrain train right now, and it's awesome.
How is the Atropos' bath?
It's technically still bathing.
Hey, just a quick one on the
Don't
MDF though.
don't leave it in there too long.
What happens?
I found that if there's ever a thin part of the cast, water will kind of get in there and just make it rougher. But I'm talking a week.
Oh yeah.
Don't leave it in there for a week.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'll take it out shortly and give it a rinse. And I just that is not high up on my list of interest right now. I started building that terrain, and now I'm that's my priority.
I told you, man. You and I need to do a full on Saturday.
I know, where we just dedicate some time to it.
We get the pin vices out, we get the pinning materials, and we just sit there and we build these things up because they are literally a ground up model.
Yeah.
You have to make the toes, then the foot, then the ankle, then the shin, then the knee, then the
It's crazy.
Yeah. You look at the instructions, you're like, oh man, this is so cool because I can pose it however I want.
Yeah, but that takes a lot of work, man.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for it. It's just that I've got other things on my plate that I'm a little more excited for. So.
Yeah.
Also, because reposing stuff static stuff, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
That's rough.
What do you mean?
Well, because I've had to do that with the Thalax, right?
You had to repost it, so you cut the joints and then
yes.
Cutting joints is just a pain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's not fun.
Yeah, you have way more flexibility with it. You can get better results. It's just
it's more work.
You're paying for it with your time.
It's more work to get a static pose. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also for your MDF stuff, what are you using to prime?
I'm not too sure yet. I mean, I've got when I did my previous stuff, I just used a rattle can. But I do have an airbrush primer that I might try. I just want to make sure it covers well enough, but doesn't obscure some of the detail that's in it.
Yeah.
Airbrush might be your best bet. Then.
Yeah, and then I'll just coat it and make sure that it's well protected later on.
Because I know you had some issues with your MDF stuff.
Yeah, I had to use filler primer. That seems to be the best one. But if you just use regular like primer that you use for models, it's like I hope you like putting 15 coats on this thing because it just
eats
sucks
it up.
Yeah.
Right. No, not really. I don't. Okay. But we'll see.
It's expensive, yeah.
Yeah,
it's expensive stuff.
Nick, what have you been working on?
Been doing a ton of work actually. The three of us here actually got together and did a full like 5-hour hobby session on Sunday, which was great. So what came out of that for me was I finally finished Master of Signal model for Heresy that I've had for probably 2-3 years now.
Why didn't you paint him before?
He's never really had a place in my army. He's the Master of Signal and Heresy. James is chasing the kitten because he picked.
He ate something. Keep going.
In Heresy, he's kind of like a support. Like he's got a bolt pistol. That's literally all he has.
Right.
That's his armament. He is a communications officer whose abilities are he buffs a squad near him, so he can call in artillery strikes, which is kind of cool as well. But just never really had a place for him in the army. And playing in a 4K Horus Heresy event.
Nice.
At the start of November, and he is going to be leading my 10-man las cannon team. So
You're
we're
a
going to be 10 las cannons all hitting on 2s.
Just kind of curious.
With interceptor, which means if anything comes in from reserve, they can fire.
Yeah, super reasonable. Reasonable.
No, that's 100%.
I need as much anti-armor as I can get.
Yeah, there's a reason why you're pointing click.
Yes.
Also, is that Master of Signals converted at all, or is that just a Forge World?
No, that's just the Forge World Master of Signal. He's great. He's the old classic Horus Heresy Forge World models are still some of my favorite models that Forge World's ever put out. So you see him, he's a very normal looking Marine. He's not embellished at all. He's got the really cool ridgeless shoulder pads, which I've always really dug in Marines. But he's basically got a Pip-Boy.
Yeah,
he's got a Pip-Boy with a fold-out keyboard that he's typing on with a screen.
He also has the strange helmet with the big old dome on the back.
Yes, that's the Cognus Signum.
Yeah. Okay, explain to me how that works anatomically.
I think it's
just like a little radar attached into his brain or something.
No, he's got really strong neck muscles.
No, I'm pretty sure that's like a servitor's brain. It's just hardwired into his brain because remember they don't use high.
They don't use AI.
They don't use AI.
Right.
So if he's
all relay logic.
If he needs something to do calculations to intercept something or to call on artillery strikes or to improve the accuracy of his squad, he's just gonna slave literally another brain to his own brain.
Yeah, multi-threading.
He's gonna find a dude and be like, "Sorry, Jim."
Oh no, it's definitely a servitor.
Oh,
yeah, he was a cool model. Super stoked to get that up. I also did a bunch of cacophony at your place. And some work on the obliterators as well.
They look really good.
Yeah, they're coming along.
Yeah.
And then between, I guess, last night and tonight, I was working on bases, so I cranked out 11 32 millimeters and 6 40 millimeter bases for all the models I'm currently working on, because I was actually invited by a listener of this podcast through Julie, because Julie's out there spreading the word of inches and cubes to everybody who
spread the good word.
Who will listen.
Thanks, Julie.
No, she went to a bachelorette party and was talking to one of the bridesmaids' husbands, and he's super into 40K. So she told him about the podcast, and he messaged me. He's like, I've been binging the podcast. I love it.
Oh.
Do you want to come and play in this event that we're holding?
Cool.
And we're going to be Julie and I are going to be in Kingston that weekend anyways, because it's the same girl's whose bachelorette party it was, their stag and doe.
Where's the event being held, do you know?
The tournament?
Yeah.
Or the stag and doe?
No, not the stag
You know
and doe.
what? Wait, I did the same thing.
No. Oh god, no. It's Nexus. Although Garrett probably hangs out at Nexus a lot. He's a huge D&D guy.
Okay.
He does a lot of D&D stuff.
Okay.
In fact, his bachelor party, which he invited me to, but I couldn't go, was just his friend making a fun one-off D&D campaign.
Cool.
That's
for
really
the bachelor
neat.
party night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots that's probably the most hobbying I've done in a long time over the course of like a week, which is great.
But
Yeah.
that's what tournaments do, man. They just light a fire under you, know?
Yeah, because so November 3rd, it's this 2K. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this event, but we'll see how it goes. So basically, it's got the ITC primary missions where it's like You get a point if you kill something. You get a point if you hold an objective. You get another point if you kill more than your opponent at the end of the battle round. But the secondary objectives are 4 Maelstrom cards. That you draw.
That you specifically draw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then each turn you can discard 1 and draw up to 4. So it's going to be the same mission 3 times, but it's going to change with the Maelstrom cards you draw. So it seems to lack
I wonder if the kind of consistency of the ITC kind of primaries is going to negate somewhat of the randomness that Maelstrom can have. Right?
That's another thing. They completely eliminated randomness in Maelstrom. If something's D3 points, it's 2 points. If something's D6 points, it's 3 points.
Right.
To swing that stuff. But it'll be interesting to see. I want to talk to the tournament organizer and be like, what made you do this way, and like what happens if you draw a card that would be completely impossible to accomplish during the course of the game, right? If I'm playing Necrons and I draw Kill a Psyker, can I discard that?
Yeah, most like friendly games, it's always been you can discard it but the interesting thing is that it's a 50-50 split between if you couldn't get it at the beginning of the game or if you can't get it now.
No, I've always said if you couldn't get it at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, that's what I said
I
too.
think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes a huge difference, right?
Yeah. Because like if you happen to kill their Psyker first turn, and then you draw this kill a Psyker card second turn, that's on you, really. I mean,
that's just part of Maelstrom, but drawing cards that you could never hope to accomplish.
Yeah, destroy a building.
Well, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's not fun to be like that. So yeah, and then November 10th is the 4K Horus Heresy, so that's literally back-to-back weekends.
How many games are you gonna play?
It's 2.
2 games.
It's only 2 games.
So it's like what, the whole weekend or?
No, it's just well, that's just it. 4K is in Heresy is not that long. Like I played Phil, the game was over in 2.5 hours, and we played out like the full 5 turns.
Wow. Well, yeah, because like didn't Magnus come down and kill half your army? No, that's a different thing, right?
That's a different thing. But yeah, essentially, like you're like that. Once you start, no, Magnus is on my side killing Paul.
Oh yeah, sorry, he's the one with the flashbacks to that. Never mind.
But as you start building up points, I think the killing power just gets up there, and you're taking squads off the board.
Right, you're bringing a falchion, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm bringing a lot of fun stuff, which I'm super stoked for. I get to bring all the toys, and everyone goes, "Oh, it's a shitty list." I'm like, "Yeah, I want to see some of the lists that I'm facing with 2 Spartans, 3 Land Raiders, and 2 Typhons." Okay, suddenly I don't feel so bad for bringing it.
No, everybody's gonna bring their toys, right? I mean, like that's the thing. They're gonna use the stuff that they have, and it's gonna be a great time. But
someone's gonna bring Magnus, and then if Paul's there, he's gonna go into a corner and cry. It'll be great.
Paul's not coming.
Oh,
stop creaking the chair, James.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. And then the 25th is our Hogtown tournament, so I will have a week off of events.
Busy November.
Yeah, busy November.
Oh, so that's why we're doing D&D that week, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have nerd stuff every single weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Such a nerd.
It's going to be a good November. Gotta distract myself from this crappy weather somehow.
I think that how Paul said that you never get any hobbying done in the summer, right? It's nice outside. You go outside and you enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
I feel like November's the like pendulum swinging back really far the other direction.
Well,
I find February is really good for painting.
Yeah, I really want to crank out the last of this Emperor's Children 30K stuff because once it's done, I have 4K fully painted Emperor's Children for Horus Heresy, and I can have a good 40K army. And then around that time, i.e. next weekend, I will have an Orc Codex.
Yeah!
And I can start focusing on Orcs. And then my main goal is to have Orcs done by January or February next year. And then it's finishing, starting and finishing the Beastclaw Raiders for Sigmar.
I find that Age of Sigmar is really good for when you don't have 40K stuff, when you need an ice break. Yeah.
So, so games played. James, you got any? And remember, we're not talking about Kill Team games. We'll talk about Kill Team games later.
I play very little 40K these days because, as an Orc player, it's kind of rough. As a Cult of Speed player, it's really rough. So the last one was last month. I played Graham, and bless his heart, he brought all Terminators. It was amazing, except that he couldn't roll higher than a 6 for his charges. I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, that'll get you.
Yeah, but it was definitely one of those games where it's the fact that he brought an army that was that bad like really helped me out, and it was like nice confidence boost. Still hate 40K right now, so
How many points was it?
2,000.
What type of mission did you play?
I think it was like a Maelstrom mission too.
Cool.
Like, I'm big on Maelstroms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a bunch of Age of Sigmar with Phil, so I'm getting better at that.
Nice.
Yeah, I like Age of Sigmar. Age of Sigmar is a game, whereas 40K is still trying to be a little bit of a simulator. But
Yeah.
Age of Sigmar is just like, no, we're a game with pieces. It's balanced. That's what it is.
Yeah, it completely eschews any notion that it's trying to emulate a
Which I mean,
war game.
good and bad things, because like it's great in the sense where it's like if you're sitting it and you're playing it, you know that you're playing a game, and the models are absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, but again, you're not going to recreate some battle in the fluff with it.
No, that's totally fair.
Yeah.
What did you play, Nick?
I also played Graham.
Ooh.
That's going to be a theme here, guys.
Yeah. Graham,
we love
gets
you.
around.
Graham's a saint.
He is a saint.
What?
He brought his Dark Angels. He brought 2,500 points. He messaged me. He's like, "Hey, you want to bump this up a little bit," just because he wanted to bring some toys he didn't play with. He brought his Spartan, which
Nice.
that was an eye opener. Lost my Daredeo and
To 8 las cannons, yeah.
not only that, but also my Long Fangs. I think it was between that and he brought another Land Raider. He was just like a bunch of Land Raiders and Terminators and yeah.
So it's 30K army, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun, but I made a couple of lucky charges, and he set up a really awesome board, and it was awesome because there was lots of line of sight blocking, so I could hide my Leviathan behind a full line of sight blocking for first turn, and he couldn't Spartan it off the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Leviathans are big too, man. Like,
Yeah, but it was great. So it was like just a good game, but yeah, it wasn't the
Yes.
longest of games.
Spartans are criminally undercosted for what they are.
Well, just the fact that
wait, you mean Forge World can't balance their stuff? Saying ain't so.
Yeah.
yeah, so like I had a couple things in combat with it. He decided to charge it in because I guess it's not bad in combat. I mean, it's doing like strength 8, AP -2, 2 damage hits or something on 5s. But you could he had like a dreadnought nearby that he could use the Wisdom of the Ancients or whatever and reroll those ones. But I didn't realize, because I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna bring Bjorn in and I'm gonna kill your Spartan, which it did end up happening. But he's like, oh, by the way, I can Overwatch with it even if it's in combat, because it's got the what is it, like Behemoth?
Oh, it can
Steel
shoot
Behemoth,
either way. Even way, yeah.
right? So he's basically gonna fire 8 like quad or 2 quad las cannons, 8 las cannons at me, at Bjorn, who doesn't have an invuln. And so if like 2 of those go through, it's a good possibility that Bjorn's gone.
Bad news.
Yeah. Luckily he didn't hit me on any of those.
Nice.
But, it was it was very eye opening to kind of see that in action. But fun game. Obviously love playing Graham.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also played Graham.
Graham's a great guy.
These are all completely unrelated games. We all set these up completely separate from each other.
Yeah, but now that we know, I mean,
So after we did the pub night, Graham challenged me to a Horus Heresy rematch, and it went exactly the same as last time.
Which was?
Which was my Dreadclaws came down, stunned his Vindicator that has a like a turbo.
Oh, the turbo laser one?
Yeah, the turbo laser one. That's not the stout, right?
This is.
No, that's the oat pale ale. That'll be nice. Thank you, sir. My Contemptor Dreadnought was able to charge his Spartan, blow his Spartan up. My Terminators with Chain Fist were able to charge his Land Raider, blew his Land Raider up second turn, and then third turn, the Cacophony got 2 wounds through on his big 10-man Terminator squad with his Praetor. He failed the leadership test, lost another 4 guys.
No.
And then my Praetor, Palatine Blades, and Chaplain charged in and killed his Praetor and the remaining 6 Terminators. Yeah.
Fun.
My list kind of really counters his, because like I don't have a lot of armor on the board. Like I start on the board with 2 rhinos who just hide behind buildings until everything else comes in. Even if I go second, he's still not getting shots off at me.
Yeah, don't you miss the null deploy stuff? Like, wasn't it great?
Yeah, I don't really. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. It really puts you in a bad position if you're doing progressive objective games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a hard matchup. my army's super maneuverable, and so it's able to get. He's got a lot of predators, a lot of rhinos. He's running Iron Wing, which in Horus Heresy means you have to have as many or more tank units as you do units of any other type.
Aren't his predators like troops too, so they can score and stuff?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's something else, but he's got great rules where if like a weapon is strength 4 or below, or strength 5 and below, and you're within 12, it gets +1 to wound. Ooh. So he's got like he killed a squad of Cacophony because he got the 10 Terminators out and then rapid fired them with commie bolters.
Yeah.
He's like just blowing them away because they're exterminators and meant to kill monsters and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool army. It's very fluffy.
Yeah.
I think he's just swinging back and forth from 8th and 7th.
He doesn't like 8th.
No, I know.
No. And I mean, yeah.
Hey, I don't like 8th either. It's like every time I listen to this podcast, I start working on the Dark Mechanicum and being like, man,
you should, because Heresy is amazing.
Am I the only one here who likes 8th? I didn't play enough 7th, nor have I played 30k.
It depends on what you're looking for.
A good time, guys. That's it.
Well, you talk about lunar narrative dissonance.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that'd be better. It'd be better.
Yeah. And I gave you Gregor Fellhand, so now you have to get that.
Yeah, you're bribing me.
No,
and you've got a solid 30k list, like I said.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. No, because like Heresy and 7th was still like a simulator. Like it still wants to be like recreate this battle. That's why you have hard counters for tanks.
Right.
Right. Whereas like 8th is it's going more towards being a game. Right. Hence like as much as the whole like constant profile for everything, that's great for a game, right? Less to remember, less like things to go through. But the fact of the matter is, armor values are really good at representing like what happens to a tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've always enjoyed that. It's one thing I do miss about 8th is armor values for sure. Tanks could be better done, but anyways, we're not here to rip on 8th. That is hobby progress and games played.
We could be here to rip on 8th, but whatever.
So we're going to take a break and open the Days in Between Oat Pale Ale when we get back.
Ooh.
You know, when I'm not cracking cold ones, I'm popping paint pots and putting brushstrokes on miniature figurines. And you know darn right that I'm getting my supplies from thewarpainter.com, a hobby store in the Great White North. Thewarpainter.com is Canada's greatest hobby store for all things hard to find. Scale 75, Broken Toad, The Army Painter, and Valet Ho. All supporters of Encounter Wargaming get 10% off their first order with the code EWG10. They got you covered.
I'm going to start by promising to keep you on topic.
Oh.
And now I'm going to open up the Days in Between Oat Pale Ale. So we went to the dollar store today so I could get my Halloween costume and Julie could buy candy and stop by India Ale House because I haven't been there in a long time and picked up 3 beers. Julie is currently drinking one that's absolutely fantastic. It's a Belgian single. Bottle conditioned ale.
It'll find love someday.
It's really good.
You mean double is not just a word that sounds like double? It actually means double?
With double malt. I put double the malt.
You'll learn something new every day.
And if you ever have a quadruple, it's like drinking...
Oh, triple. I should know this.
It's like drinking sugar water.
Ooh.
Well, it's a lot.
Like delicious sugar water or like mediocre sugar water?
Yeah, like delicious sugar water.
Okay, that's the best kind of sugar water.
Yeah. So this is just an oat pale ale from India Ale House. Back before the LCBO around the corner from my house opened, this is where I'd go to all the time for beer.
Yeah.
And it's good stuff. Sometimes their beer is a little weird, but sometimes they just hit the nail on the head just right.
Interesting.
Oh, this is definitely weird that hits the nail on the head.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not a lot of front to it.
No.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but it tastes good.
Yeah, I don't know what it means either. Just trying to,
Oh,
it's like
okay.
the beginning of your taste palate, like the. I guess it could even be like the front of your tongue, right? Like
Okay,
whatever's coming off the front of your tongue, like.
So are we just being like, yes, it is rather pedestrian. So jejune. Like,
Well, no, because you could have the aftertaste could be fantastic. The middle could be great.
Yeah.
but then the front just.
There's no bite to it, right? There's no initial.
It's like when you
Yeah,
drink
it
water.
doesn't have any teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Now you're getting into it.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know how I feel about that beer.
I don't mind it.
I don't think I'd order this if I was there on tap.
No, I think there's probably more interesting things out there.
There usually is.
Yeah.
The Rabbit of Cabernog, still one of my favorite beers.
Sounds like a great quest.
They had a carrot cake one. Is that what that one was? There's a carrot cake one that they've done.
Oh yes,
That was super weird, but also tasty, and like, you don't taste anything like it.
Yeah, it was very good. The Rabbit of Cabernog is very much a hoppy, fruity IPA. They also do the Winter Took, which is like a Belgian strong ale with black cherries.
Oh,
That's so good.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Oh, it's one of the best beers I've ever had, and they just stopped making it.
Bunch of jerks.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about beer, or are we? Also, weed's legal now. Should we smoke a joint on the podcast one time and review it?
I mean, do we have American listeners?
You should do it for the Orc Codex, because then it's green all the way down, baby.
That's true.
That stink.
On that topic, do you want to hear a weird aside?
Yeah.
Sure.
So, South Korea, did you hear what they told their citizens today?
No.
What?
If you do something that's illegal in South Korea that's legal somewhere else, you will still be charged for it in South Korea. And they were referring to smoking marijuana in Canada.
Oh.
Is that how the laws work? I don't think that's how laws work.
They said that, like, the government of South Korea was like, just
Wait,
because
wait.
it's legal there doesn't
You don't
mean
own
it's...
my body.
No, there is something like that where like you have to adhere to the laws of the place you're in. You know what? We should ask Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great as long as we can keep it on topic.
We'll just record a separate...
Well, no,
fun
he's supposed to
time.
keep me on topic, so like no one's watching the Watcher though. Like that's
Who watches the Watchmen?
It's true.
right. So kill team.
Kill team.
It's teams that kill.
It is killed, yes.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. I always like picturing it as the first Predator movie.
Not like the Sandlot
Ooh, yeah.
or like the Mighty Ducks.
No.
Where they're just like a bunch of ragtag misfits who like can't make it, and then they go up against the evil team, have a great montage, and do well.
But it's hockey.
Oh.
Did you ever see the Mighty Ducks cartoon where they're aliens
Yes!
in space? And you're like, what? This doesn't make... And they play
No,
hockey.
100%. If you want to make a kill team based on the Mighty Ducks, I will be so proud of you.
And not with Emilio.
No, like the alien duck ones. But also, you know what? If you want to make a hockey team of kids, why are you sending kids into an active hot LZ? But whatever, you know.
The Knuckle Puck has like an AP -4.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, you get the Bash Brothers going on, you know. Like,
Yep. Anyways,
Kill
back to
Team.
Kill Team.
Yeah.
So Kill Team's actually probably... Yeah, it is the most recently released thing that Games Workshop's put out.
Yep.
Wait, was it before or after Titanicus?
It was before.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it was. Maybe not.
Because it was earlier this summer, and then I think...
Yeah, but no one
earlier
plays Titanicus.
What was
I mean,
it?
no.
I'm
no,
pretty
it's-
sure it was before.
It was before.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's one of the more fully fleshed out things. For those of you who don't know and who are under a rock somewhere, you're basically commanding a squad of dudes against another squad of dudes on a very weirdly shaped field of battle that I love the size of.
Yeah. So it's you could possibly command 3 guys if you're playing maybe Grey Knights or even
Tyranids.
Tyranids. Yeah, I guess
Tyranids.
like 3 warriors who could be.
Well, 3 lictors comes in at 75 points, but
Yeah.
so it's close. But yeah,
So you could basically anything as small as like 3 or 4 dudes, all the way up to or dudettes, or all the way up to like
20.
possibly 20. You could have 20 on your roster. I guess you could
No,
probably
20
do
is
20
the max.
cultists.
20 is the maximum in the game. For,
Right.
like it actually says like the number of models for match play is 3 to 20.
Yeah.
But
So just the scale and the scope of it is very different, which allows you to do a lot cooler things when you're dealing with the rules, right? I mean, you think of 40K, you've got a squad. I'm going to activate things kind of at a scale of a squad. I'm going to roll everything for that squad together. Now you can deal with individuals and have a little bit more nuance in there.
Yeah, which is an interesting opportunity to change up some rules, which we'll get to later.
yeah.
But Games Workshop's experimented with Kill Team for a long time.
Yep.
James, you were mentioning that goes back to like
4th edition.
4th edition. And I remember looking through this book
Do you know if that was the first time?
I think it was the first. They might have had a White Dwarf or something, but that was the first time I ever saw it, and it was amazing. Because they had, like, back in the day, like, if you ever get a chance to find a copy of the 4th edition rulebook, they had in the back, Kill Team was, like, its own game, like, 100%. Like, it had the immutable laws of Kill Team, so you could actually... You're supposed to take the entries from the codex, but you can change the entries from the codex for a certain amount of points. Like, it was really great in that sense. The only thing was it wasn't teams on teams. It was you had one team, and then the other guy was just a bunch of brute squads. Well, they called them brute squads. It was like just a bunch of mooks, just a bunch of regular soldiers.
So that would be more of the Predator idea. I mean, whether it's a
100%.
So you're trying to infiltrate a base and basically
Kill their
you roll off, and if you win, you get to move the sentry. If your opponent who's controlling the sentry wins, they move the sentry towards you.
Yeah.
Their vision's based on their initiative value.
That sounds really cool.
It was
Yeah.
amazing.
You could actually play it by yourself.
Okay, so
You
it's like
could.
one of those type of games.
It was
yeah.
really
There's-
boring to play by yourself because, like, again, the sentries do come under activation once they're within a certain range of you.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as the sentry rules that there are now, actually, but
No one uses them.
So
I do.
I mean, I can see why you would like this, James, because it is so narrative based, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
100%.
so was it the same kind of mechanics? Did it feel the same? Besides the fact you weren't playing against another kill team, did it feel the same when you were playing it?
A lot of the stuff that, like, a lot of the core things, like, that aren't just basic rules mechanics, like, as far as, like, positioning was super important. Line of sight was, like, king. You needed to have really dense terrain. Like, you needed to go in with a plan for your guys. That was all very similar. The rules were completely different, and the fact that it was asymmetrical gameplay really changed it up as well.
Right.
But, yeah, no, the old 4th edition one was amazing.
So was there anything between 4th and, like...
Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so we at the club, I don't think you played in the first one that we did.
I played in the one this year.
Yeah.
that was
so
the second one.
there was a lot of. I think it was actually the exact same cover. In 7th edition, they released kind of like a quick one-off kill team thing.
No, 6th edition they had one too, because I remember that's how I got back in, was playing a 6th edition kill
What did I
team
say
league.
about tapping the table?
Oh, right. Sorry. 6th edition they had a kill team thing, because I remember that's how I got back into playing 40k.
I have no recollection of that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Okay, well, seventh
Wiped from your memory.
Well, no, like, they had bikes in it, and they had, like, you weren't supposed to be able to use Thunderwolf Cavalry, but, like, someone did, and it's just,
yeah.
it got really one-sided real quick.
So 7th had a full-on mini rule book that they released for it.
Yeah, there was Armageddon, Shadow War Armageddon.
That's not kill team. That's a completely different game set.
Yeah, and it sucked.
Yeah. But anyway, so 7th edition kind of had it where you were pulling full unit entries from a codex. So you'd have to take, for example, 5 scouts.
Oh, so you couldn't subdivide, like just take individuals?
No. So you'd have to take the full 5 scouts, maybe like 5 devastators. The idea was like you're taking a squad of guys,
Right.
and then they're splitting up. So you take a 10-man tactical squad.
Got it.
And you'd have your heavy weapon, you'd have your assault guy, you'd have your sergeant, and a bunch of moves.
You're just doing like a more like individual aspect of combat squatting.
Yes.
Yeah. You
Very
can take
much so.
vehicles in that one too, though, I remember.
Yeah, you could take vehicles.
Yeah.
There was like no armor value over 33 combined. That's where I started the Death Watch. Actually, was for kill team.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that was
Death Watch was cool because Death Watch, they're all highly customizable.
Oh yes.
So they're all very, very. They're exactly like they are, and
I
it was literally the
love how they
same
are in Kill Team.
unit entry.
Yeah.
It's like you can do whatever you want with them, which was fun. We did a really fun event. People definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great.
Because it's a really, and why I think Kill Team is so attractive to a lot of players is it really is a lower barrier of entry,
Yep.
Definitely.
which we can touch on in a bit. But not only that, but it also gives veteran hobbyists an opportunity to explore different armies that they normally wouldn't take on, because you can just go with, I don't really want to paint 100 gaunts.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get some Gene Stealers and some Warriors, so those are cool.
Yeah. Just to wrap up the other thing though, like, because 6th had the standalone thing that was actually an event pack they released for Warhammer World, and then 7th edition they did the same one. That's the most recent one that you played in.
No,
Right.
that was 8th edition.
Sorry, 8th edition
Yeah.
they had one that was like at Warhammer World. They always
Yes.
release a pack for that. They always have Kill Team around. It's just this is the first time it's been, hey, buy this separately. Also, here's a bunch of product support. Also, like, yeah, they like the product support that's coming with it, the fact that they're doing boards, the fact that they're actually, it's not just a 3-page pamphlet they're handing out for the event is amazing.
They're actively
Yeah.
choosing to make it a separate
Yeah.
supported game.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
very much a separate and supported game, because the old Kill Team you still needed the main 40k rule.
Yeah, exactly. It was never its own game. It was a bolt-on.
Yeah. It was still a lot of fun, and it still works. So, so that's one of the main things that makes it different than 40k. It is very much its own rule set. You've both got the books in front of you. That's one of the coolest things is you need this, like, 3/4 inch thick book,
Yeah.
and that's all you need to play the game.
Well, the models and the terrain, but yeah.
200 pages of all of the possible kill teams, all of the factions are in one book.
Yeah.
The campaign stuff's in here.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we can get to expansions and stuff later on, but
Yeah.
the fact that, yeah, you're right. What you buy one book,
Yep.
yeah, sure, it costs you like $40-50, whatever this book costs. But it's got everything. You don't need to buy a rule book and then a codex or an index, and there's, the idea of creep and all of that stuff is just a little bit limited.
Yeah. I mean, you could buy the cards, but
The cards I find are very helpful. We'll get into that in mechanics as well, but I think the game is meant to be played with the data cards.
yeah, like
and
no,
the
but
tactic cards.
you can get by without them. They're just
Yeah.
it's nice to have.
So like we were saying before, like why would somebody want to play this game? It's quick.
Yep.
Yes.
It's easy, and you don't need a lot of models. You can go and buy one box.
Yep.
And have enough.
I played 5 games. Last Saturday, I played 5 games between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m.
Yeah,
in the afternoon.
that's awesome.
That's
Which
amazing.
was, I mean, it was a lot of games. I was a little burnt out at the end, but when was the last time I played 5 games of Warhammer?
That's a campaign
The
right
Hog
there,
Tower
man.
over 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days, and you're even more burnt out. But
Yeah.
no, for sure, and it's quick. The modeling potential of it, because it's so small, right? You're just doing like 3 to probably 15 on average dudes, maybe even a little bit less.
I really want to see someone do a full 20-man team, but yeah.
I think that the ones that I've seen so far have been like basically 17 cultists or 18 cultists and then 2 Chaos Space Marines. But my kill team, my command roster is 7 individuals. I put some magnets in them so I can change up the arms to have a couple different loadouts. But 7 individuals, converting, making those my own.
Yeah.
That's a lot easier than building any kind of that's not even a unit in some like 40K armies, right?
No, definitely not.
Or not a useful unit at any rate.
Yeah.
But also, you're not stuck painting, 20, 30 cultists that are all the same and armed with the
Yeah.
same weapons. Cultists aren't so bad because the cultist models are kind of cool. But getting stuck having to paint like 30 tactical marines.
Or, dude, grots, where you
Yes.
have to paint the fact that you have to paint grots boots different from their skin, from their armor, from everything, and they're 3 points a model. Like that sucks, man. It's just ugh.
Yeah, I think it's an easy point of access, like you said, right?
Yep.
People can pick up one single box sometimes. If GW's smart, they'll do that a little bit better. Where one box of Eldar, one box of Orcs, whatever, that'll be a kill team, just like the Death Watch kill team.
Yeah.
And so basically for $50 you can get in and play the game, or probably for more like 90, considering you have to buy the book as well.
Yeah.
But that's pretty reasonable.
Or you just talk to me and I'll give you the mega upload link.
Yeah.
We don't support pirating, do we?
No,
on
this
podcast?
is for the.
I thought you were playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yes, I was.
No, this is the trial version
Yes,
that you do
the
before
trial
you buy.
version.
That's how it
Exactly.
works.
That's fair.
The demo version. It's fine.
Yeah.
The other thing too is actually the lower barrier to entry for the number of models for your team, but also the lower barrier the lower barrier of entry. The lower barrier of entry as far as terrain goes.
Yeah.
Well, it's very much like we could play on this table in
Yeah.
front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
but
which is like a 6x4 board is big.
huge.
And you can play sitting down
Yes.
very easily.
Yeah.
That's a good point, actually. I want to do that, playing Kill Team more often now.
Yeah. Just sit down at a table.
When I played my game with Victor's like, let's have a seat. This is going to be great. I was like, okay, yeah, sounds good.
But and then I know when we did our AGM meeting, Simon and Adam played a game at the bar.
Yeah.
Like it's very much.
Wait, they played at the bar?
Portable.
Yeah, they played at Seascape. So you could very much just play it wherever.
Yeah.
And the terrain is also something cool because now you got an opportunity for people who want to try to make their own terrain, paint their own terrain. You're not having to fill a full 6x4 board.
Yeah, because that's really daunting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's less terrain. I actually, we can talk about how the terrain rules are different in a bit, but the boards that I've played on are way more creative.
Yeah.
Probably because it's a smaller space, you can pack a little bit more in. the way that cover kind of works, and you can put, like you were saying, you built up those little Necromunda barricades. They added so much to the game that we play just by having
that was so cool. Some cover in the
some scatter terrain in the middle, and it's just it adds
matters.
more to the game. Yes, it
scatter
totally does
terrain
matter. It does matter.
The other thing too is like, how often do you play a game of 40K where like, you know, you'll spend first off, quite honestly, to set up a 6x4 board properly, it takes you like a good 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah, it can.
10 minutes.
Well, again, like depending on what you're doing.
If you're getting it out of like something, and
and more importantly,
I'm
how
gonna
many
cut your hands off.
Okay. And more importantly, how many times have you set up like a 6x4 board, started to play and realized, hey, that 2 foot corner in the one part is never going to get touched.
Oh yeah, all
like
the time.
no one's going around there, and I spent forever making sure that like, you know, this like it had this little bunker that told the story and stuff, and it's like, it's no one's going near.
Sounds like this is a James problem.
It really is.
Yeah, no, I understand that problem though.
Yeah.
It's you're investing time into something that isn't going to get used. And
Well,
with the smaller scale of Kill Team, everything gets used.
Yeah.
And if not, you play it again in an hour. You play like 3 games in a couple hours, and then you're changing the terrain up. You're just it's just way easier.
Yeah.
And you can transport your army in a Tupperware,
Yes.
which is super fun and super easy to do.
Yeah, throw them in your backpack and go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a very accessible game for new people or people returning to the hobby or people who don't want to invest in a full army of a faction that they're interested in.
And if I may lead into the next part, another reason why people should play is that it's a good game.
Yes. There are some weird things that are happening that break the ludonarrative dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
in
overall,
general, it is I think because they're looking at it at a different scale, right? It's individuals. You don't have to worry about how units and vehicles and all of these other kind of things play into this aspect and balance out. You can tailor the rules just for those types of models. So is that up next? What are we looking at next? The rule sets or
what we're doing next?
there we go.
Let's pull this first.
What is it, James?
This is Henderson's Brewery Food Truck.
That's a great beer.
I love this beer. It's really easy drinking.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you can just knock these back like it's nobody's business. I mean, it's got a good front.
It's got a good back.
It's a solid blonde ale.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, well, let's read the copy. Back in the day, Toronto's food trucks were known mainly for warmed-over weenies and soggy French fries. But our city has grown up, and so has the fare being offered by the food trucks and pop-ups that come by the brewery. As a show of respect to today's mobile chefs, we brew this refreshing and uncomplicated blonde ale that pairs perfectly with great food, great friends, or just a great day. You're about to enjoy that easy drinking beer. Cheers!
Yeah, Paul's gonna kill you when he has
Paul's gonna flip.
Whatever. But yeah, it always makes me remember the first time I ever went to Henderson's.
Yeah?
And
They had a food truck?
yeah, because we were
Paul flipped?
yes, because we were. Oh, Paul wasn't there, but we were all hungry.
But you wish he was.
It was 8:00. It was in the middle of December. It was
PM?
cold. Yes.
Okay.
It was cold. This was when Henderson's was first open. They'd opened for about 6 months. And we're like, we need food. We've been here since like 1:00. And then Gangsta Cheese showed up.
Nice.
Like angelic music as they drive in. Yeah, it's perfect.
Gangsta Cheese is the best.
Yeah.
If you're ever out Oshawa or Ajax Way, they have a restaurant now.
Oh, nice.
They opened up their first restaurant.
What's it called?
Gangsta Cheese.
Oh.
The boss of grilled cheese.
It's a good tagline.
It's a great tagline. They make great grilled cheese.
Yeah.
100%.
So yeah, let's get into some of the rules. Let's not read verbatim from the rule book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But we'll talk about mainly highlighting the rules we like, the mechanics we like, and the big differences from the Warhammer 40K big board game.
Actually, can I just go back for like 1 second?
No.
Okay. We're like sharks, man. Always forward, never back. No, but I was going to say, like, the other thing about getting into Kill Team very specifically is, like, okay, my Kill Team very specifically is based off of a book I read. Everyone is named off of a main character from that book.
Again, this seems like a very James thing.
Yeah, but, I mean...
I picked
yes.
that up.
No, it's true,
Agree.
yes.
I
Yeah,
agree.
like,
yep.
yours is very specifically, like...
No, it's the whole customization aspect because it's smaller scale. you can do those type of things.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
like you keep joking about making the team from the Predator. I am 100% sure that someone's going to do that.
Yeah. I am going to tie your hands behind your back. I had to train myself to not click pens and to not tap the table.
You know what you need?
Yeah, I haven't had that training.
You need a cat.
You need a sleeping kitten in your lap, and then you'll be fine.
Nick has a sleeping kitten in his lap right now.
Quit bogarting the hit kitten, man. Like, jeez. Okay. Anyways, yeah.
So I think one of the best parts about this coming from a 40K perspective is that you can use the same stat lines. Everything is understandable because you're coming in knowing the 40K rules, and they haven't changed the basic, like a plasma gun is a plasma gun,
yes,
right? A Marine is a Marine, right? You're not getting extra wounds, you're not getting extra saves or anything. It's all the same as 40K.
Yeah,
which is very nice. Consistency.
The wound chart's the same. How ballistic skill works is the same. Yeah.
There's a few differences when you get into things like mob rule doesn't exist.
That's not a stat line.
Yeah, no, but like the stat lines are all the same, but the special rules aren't there.
Yeah. Some of the special rules go away. Yeah.
Chapter tactics are gone.
But really,
but yeah, meat and potatoes. Like
But the big differences come from the fact that you're playing at a smaller scale game now. So, you can actually say, okay, your weapon is probably going to become a little less accurate when you're firing it at a further distance, right? So you're taking.
Let's walk through the phases.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll highlight the differences. So, the main thing, kind of before the game starts, it's like you're coming with a roster.
Yeah.
Of how many points is the roster? 200.
200. You can start it, but I don't know if there's a limit.
It depends. If you're talking about a command roster, the way they outline it in the book says 200 points.
Okay, so you build a command roster of 200 points. You put whoever you want in that, and then when you show up to play your game, let's say Nick and I are going to play. I'm playing my orcs. He's playing Death Watch. He's going to go, I'm playing orcs today. I don't need frag cannons. I need heavy bolters and flamethrowers. So he can pick those guys to put in the field against me. And I know I'm going to be facing Death Watch, so I'm going to take a bunch of commandos and big shooters because they do a lot of work.
And a thing about this too that I've heard through listening to a couple other people, including some testers, and I think people who are involved in like the development of the game. This is an important part for balancing it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just bring if we're playing at like a match level or a competitive level, you should have stuff in your command roster to fill in those gaps. You have less models, you have bigger gaps that are potentially in there, and everybody can do it, right? So bring a couple extra models that are good against mobs and good against mechs, and then figure it out.
So the one thing I will say about that I actually really, really enjoy is the fact that it stop tapping the table. All right, it kind of penalizes horde armies in a good way, in the sense where like, look, the Aspen, like every time you read the fluff about Space Marines, they're elite, they're flexible, they got a tool for every job, right? And then you read about the Astra Militarum, they just throw bodies at it and hope the other guy can't swim,
Yeah.
Drown them in bodies. Anyways, so like, if you look at our Astra Militarum roster, it's going to be, they're using 15 out of those guys in every single game, and they can swap out 5 maybe, depending on points. Whereas like, your Marine guys, your Harlequins, your like elite dudes, you can swap out the whole team.
Yeah, but they're swapping out their specialists, right? Not specialists that we'll get into, but the people who are bringing
the
plasma
specialized
guns, the
guys.
people who are bringing flamers. And that's cool, right? It's it's kind of like having a sideboard in Magic or something, right?
Yeah.
You have some not infinite choices in your back pocket, but you have a select number of things that hey, I didn't think I'd be getting into this. Okay, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to try a different strategy.
Yeah.
But I like the sides where like, if you're just flooding the board with 17 cultists, you have to do that every time because the command roster is 20 dudes.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're always going to be doing that. But if you're Marines, you're going to take flamers one time, you're going to take heavy bolters another.
So the way that once we have our command roster, it's important to know how to build it. So instead of having like troops, HQ, elites, and heavy support, flyer, super heavies, whatever, you basically have 3 types of units, right? You have your leader, your specialists, and your fire team. Your leader is your leader. You don't want him to die.
No.
It's bad if he dies.
Yeah.
Your specialists are sometimes, not always, but most of the time, guys with the special weapons or special abilities.
You choose who the specialists are.
Yeah, I know, but you're not going to make a random Grot a specialist if you want any hope of winning the game. So
If he has
you're
a
probably
skill specialty.
you're probably going to want to take the special guys as your specialists. So for example, my orc army, there's a boss knob, a luda, and a mech. So those are the specialists.
Yeah.
And then you have your fire team, which is just mooks.
Yep.
But they're still cool. They're still
Goons.
important.
Yep.
And you can only have 3, and they can't have the same type. So we'll get into
Types of specialists.
types of specialists. Yeah, we can. No, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Because that just, we don't have to play with them.
No.
It kind of makes
It's a good idea to play with them,
But I mean, if you're trying to get into the game, it's not the most important thing to play with.
yeah.
And then we have. Sorry, I just burped a little bit.
Okay. How was it?
It was gross.
Okay.
It was a beer burp. It's awful.
Oh. Is that the coming back up?
Yeah. So how turns work in general is completely different.
Yeah.
And they very much stole this from Sigmar. And I love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So basically how it works is turn 1, you roll off, deploy, and then both players roll 2d6, which is a nice touch because it adds a lot of variation.
Mm-hmm.
And the player who rolls highest goes first, and then you do the same thing at the end of turn 1,
Yeah.
which is super cool.
Yeah. So every turn it could be different.
And you gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah. And how you play the game depends on if you're going first or second.
Yep.
Neither one is good nor bad.
Yeah.
They are different in each circumstance, and I think that's awesome because it adds variation. It makes you think on your toes. You have to be strategically. You have to just be a little different whether you're going first or second.
Yeah.
What, you don't like the game being all based on Alpha Strike and being over after turn 1?
Not really.
Yeah. So the movement phase, it's not done like 40K. It's done, I go movement phase, you go movement phase. I go shooting phase, you go shooting phase. So it is a lot of fun kind of doing it that way. But essentially what that means is there's a couple different things that happen in the movement phase. I guess there's only like the one different thing is that you have to charge in the movement phase.
Well, there's also the fact that you have more options than just Overwatch because you can retreat too.
Yeah. You can ready. You can charge. You can fall back or retreat.
Yeah. No, retreat like when someone charges you.
Yeah, so let's
Okay.
order
alright,
things
alright,
for people
alright.
who are listening.
Alright.
We know what we're talking about. They don't.
Well, I mean, I don't. But
So if you decide to declare charge against somebody in your movement phase, it's the same kind of rules.
yeah.
But that person who you declared charge against can either overwatch against you, do nothing because you don't have to overwatch, or fall back 3 inches before you roll your charge distance.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can deny someone a charge.
I mean, if they don't roll high enough, if you declare your charge and you don't make it, you don't just stand there like you do in 40K. You can actually move 0 to the full distance that you rolled.
Yeah, I looked at the fact for that. It's actually you either you move 0 or you move the distance you rolled. Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
Stop tapping the table, James.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what it actually says is that you have to end your move as close as possible to the target of your charge. Yeah. In the errata, it actually says that like this will usually mean you go at your full distance towards the enemy model, but
Right.
yeah, because like otherwise you're not sneaking around a building with your charge. That's what they're trying to avoid.
I was under the impression that you could go.
Yeah, the rulebook makes it pretty clear that the model can move up to its charge distance.
Yeah, which is 0 to
Yeah.
the distance.
But we're not here to debate FAQs right now.
Okay.
But yeah, so movement phase is very similar to 40K besides that. But it is interesting because it's I go, you go for movement phase, it really, going second is actually really, really good.
Yeah.
Because you're able to react
Yeah.
to what your enemy is doing. And another thing you can do in the movement phase is what they used to call set overwatch, which is ready, which means you don't move, you're just ready to shoot.
Yeah, you get priority during the shooting phase.
Yeah.
Which brings you to the shooting phase. You were going into this one.
Yeah. So the fact that there are modifiers that can be applied based on how easy it is going to be to hit something, right?
So how does the shooting phase work?
Shooting phase works basically starts with the person who has initiative. It starts with them firing any of their readied models, and then it alternates. So if I have one readied model, I would fire that, and I had initiative. Then it would go to my opponent if he had any readied models, right? So you go through your readies.
But one model at a time.
One model at a time. And then you go through the rest of your models that are able to shoot. So you can't do it if you're charged. You can't do it if
You were charged.
if you were charged. A couple of little things, but basically it goes back and forth, one model at a time. So I select somebody who's going to shoot. I choose a target, and I can basically choose to hit that target and possibly other targets that are within 2 inches of it, right? So I can spread my bullets, my whatever my shots
fire.
out between a couple people that are only in that immediate vicinity, which is kind of neat. The thing is, though, if it's beyond half of your range of your weapon, so let's say I'm firing a bolter, my range is 24, right? Anything beyond 12 is -1 to hit,
Yep.
right?
Except for
also,
snipe. Yeah.
and I also get -1 to hit if I am targeting something that is behind an obstruction. So they've done away with the kind of traditional 8th idea of cover where you have to be within, the cover terrain, right? Now they're saying, okay, from a part of your body of your model, can you see the whole body of the other model, or is the body of the other model obstructed by some barrels or like half of a wall or a window or anything, and literally anything? And then if that is the case, then you consider them to have another -1. So Marines at a distance with something that's behind cover are hitting things on 5s.
Yeah.
So it's not as guaranteed as it would be in 40K.
Yeah, and I think that really does a really great job of representing. Do you guys ever watch The Deadliest Warrior when that was on Spike?
I think I saw an episode or two.
So there was a really fun episode where it was the Green Berets versus the Spetsnaz, and the Spetsnaz are they have a special kind of gunfighting combat, which is very much acrobatic. So they will jump and then like do the split. So they're like down at the bottom of the corner of a wall, pointing up. And so you're not going to get that if you're like a formation of dudes on a battlefield. But if you're individuals fighting, you're not just going to be standing there. You're going to be diving, taking cover, doing combat roles.
It's the
throwing smoke grenades.
It's the scale of which you're kind of interacting with this stuff. It allows you to kind of play with these rule sets a little bit more. It's great. I mean, the minus the fact that you're adding negatives to your hit. You can still so plasma guns only explode on a 1, so that's the big thing is those minuses don't affect those 1s anymore, which is how it should be in 40K.
Yeah, it will be.
And things always hit on 6s as well.
Yeah.
So
no matter what,
and it will be in 40K too.
Yeah,
we just saw that with the Orc Codex being released. Orcs always hit on a natural roll of a 6.
Yeah, they also get a natural shot, but I mean, anyways.
Yeah, so it is a little bit
Keep
different.
it on topic, Nick. Go ahead.
Right.
It's a more fluid phase, I find. The back and forth is really interesting. Who you're going to choose to fight, like shoot first, because if you don't choose the right person, the guy who you're going to choose to shoot second might be dead by the time you choose him.
Yeah.
Right? He might be already shot off the board.
Yeah, actually, I really like the readied action thing for sniper duels because there are certain weapons that ignore the more than half and you get the -1. Like sniper rifles actually have a purpose in this one, but like when you get into sniper duels where it's like the other guy readied his sniper guy who has clear line of sight to yours. So do you want to ready your sniper guy and hope that you get to shoot him first, or are you going to move him and then leave him without a target? Like there's a whole bunch of like extra metagame stuff with that. That's just amazing.
Yeah, you just want to stand there and hope he misses.
Yeah, and then take your shot,
so
or
you
can
take your shot.
Yeah, or you're going to run around the corner and then leave him with nothing.
So after that's kind of done, which I really prefer that way of doing cover. It would be very difficult to implement.
You can't do it in 40K.
You wouldn't be able to do it in 40K because
also like the fact of the matter is the reason why the cover works so well is because it's individual models.
Yes,
because like
that's what we're saying. It's because otherwise you'd have to get to where you were doing in 7th edition, where it's like these 5 guys you're not getting a cover save against. These 5 guys you are, which again, from if you're trying to play a war game, sure. But it slows down gameplay.
Yeah.
Another interesting mechanic they brought into Kill Team was the flesh wounds, which I quite like now that I know how to play them properly. Because I've actually played 7 games. I counted them up. I was thinking about it today. That I played this rule wrong until I played against you. So it's good to know. So basically, the way flesh wounds work is not every time you get hit you're going to die. In 40K, when you get hit and you take a wound, it doesn't mean you're dead.
No, but you're out of action.
You're out of action. And in Kill Team, your guys are a little tougher. And if they take a hit, the enemy who shot you rolls to injure you. And it's based on a couple different things. But basically, if I shoot you 4 times, let's say I have a flamethrower,
Yep.
and I wound you 4 times, you're only going to take 1 injury roll.
Yeah,
Right?
you fail your saves.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you do 1 damage, basically you take 1 injury roll,
Yeah.
and then all the rest of the damage from that single weapon
It's gone.
is gone.
Yeah.
Right. So if you failed 3 of those flamer hits, right? That's 3 1 damage things, but you're only going to take 1 because as soon as you take the 1, the other 2 don't matter
Yeah.
anymore.
So once you take a flesh wound, it also depends on if you're obscure or not. If you're behind cover, obviously it's
If
not
you're
gonna
behind
do-
cover and you're within 1 inch of that cover, it's very important.
Okay.
Yeah, because like there are instances where someone will shoot through a model or shoot through a building or something, so you get the -1 to shoot, but you will not get the +1.
Oh,
to
you have to be with 1 inch. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. And then it's harder to injure you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But being injured doesn't mean you're okay. It reduces your effectiveness in combat, which is a super cool mechanic to use for sure. Because you got -1 to hit.
Yeah.
It also means subsequent flesh wounds are more likely to take you out of action.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice thing because those kill teams can evaporate pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And just by having a little bit more of a chance to stay alive, it makes you play more strategically. You want to be by cover.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like you're playing the game a little bit tighter.
And then there's the morale phase, which sucks if you're playing orcs. But basically, your kill team's not going to stick around if things are going bad.
Yeah.
Once you lose half your guys, you have to start making tests to see if your kill team breaks or if your guys lose their nerve. And it can be rough. Like the game I played against Nick on Saturday.
Yeah.
I had 3 objectives and
Yep.
last turn,
Sixth round.
sixth turn, I broke
Oh.
and I
And-
lost.
Everybody was
Or
shaken, right?
yeah.
And that's the thing that I find really that sucks is like as soon as you're shaken, that model can't basically do anything.
Yeah.
And they don't count for holding objectives. So when you have 3 models left and they're all on objectives, and I have 1 model left on an objective, and yours are all shaken,
Yeah.
I've now won.
Yes.
There is the nice thing though is that like again when you get to that point in the game, there's a stratagem that lets
We
you
haven't
make
talked
one
about
person.
stratagems.
Oh, okay. There's ways around it.
Yes.
Yeah. And we skipped over the melee phase, but I mean it's the same thing as shooting. It's just like
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Back and forth. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I like the back and forth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
charging models always go first, depending on whose initiative it is.
Yep.
And then you go back and forth. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, the morale phase also like it does penalize horde armies, but in a way that they should be penalized.
Yes.
Yeah, which is nice because again, your small elite army isn't going to care about 1 or 2 guys dying, but you know.
What did you bring us?
Oh hey, it's Bandit. This is their milkshake series. It's the YY Asterix to PDX. I don't understand what the labeling is, but it's YYZ, YY anything, YYC. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, it's a black raspberry milkshake
Okay.
IPA,
Ooh.
6.6.
Yeah, because YY, that's weird, because like not every airport in Canada is YY.
No, I mean like
What's
Toronto
the
Island, YTO.
Yeah.
YOW is Ottawa.
Yeah. So I don't get that. But that is, man,
IUL.
that's milkshake looky.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's definitely very pink.
Yep. I think it's probably the black raspberry. Yeah. What do you think?
It's definitely got some black raspberry in it.
Yep. No doubt.
Huh. Yeah, but it doesn't show up to like the late front. Is that a thing?
Sure,
Yeah,
James.
It is now.
It's got a solid mouthfeel.
Yep.
Yes, the mouthfeel definitely feels like beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
Rather, indeed.
Yeah. So all the stuff we've talked about so far is the meat and potatoes of Kill Team. And it would be a fun game in itself, playing like that.
Yep. I think there are things in this that 40K would benefit from. It's a solid rule set. It's a good game, and you can get it done quickly.
And then to make it better, to add that level of individuality and customization, we have specialist types, we have tactics, and we have abilities, which is super cool. So basically what this means is there's different specialities that your specialist can take.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. So you can be a sniper, you can be a heavy weapons specialist, you can be a
Combat specialist.
leader, a combat specialist, a zealot, a scout, a medic.
Demolitions.
And they all grant different abilities. For example, if you're a heavy specialist, moving and shooting with heavy weapons, you don't get a penalty. Combat specialist, +1 attack. Super cool. What else is there?
Zealot specialist, the crazy guys.
+1 strength, +1 attack.
On the charge, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of them that aren't as good from their passive abilities. These are all passive abilities that just like your guy has them if they are that specialist.
Yeah.
The medic doesn't count shaken for nerve test or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, which is, I don't know. I mean, that might be more important for a horde army or something, but
it is.
It's a little bit less important than say a +1 attack on my heavy thunderhammer guy.
Yes.
Right.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, but I think the other thing beyond just having those passive abilities is that all of these specialists have a tree, right? And the whole thing about Kill Team is that these are your dudes, and if, as we've been kind of alluding to, you can play them in a campaign setting, and if you do, you're gaining experience. You're basically progressing them in almost an RPG-like way, where my dude is now a level 2 sniper, and he gets an extra ability that I choose from a couple different abilities, or level 3, and you're tailoring these individual models that have a story, that have like a specific look and feel, and now they have abilities that set them apart from likely, well, depending on how you do it, everybody else in the campaign.
Yeah. Well, like I just in our campaign that we're currently playing now, I just had the opportunity to level a couple guys up. So my leader and everybody within 3 inches of him now automatically pass nerve tests.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I figured, I was like, yeah.
That's a good thing.
But again, like that's not the only thing, because what you can do is you can either say,
No. Here's the level 2 leader thing is a bit of a conundrum, but
no. What it is that everyone within 3 of him passes nerve test, but he doesn't.
yes, he does.
No.
Because in the rules it says if a unit has an aura ability, it benefits from its own aura.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes
it's the
no
same.
sense then, because the other one is just that
No,
it passes.
because it gives you other options later
Oh,
on as
okay,
you
right.
level up.
Yeah, you have to choose it.
So you have to choose. There's different abilities, and it's fun. Like, you can do like this. I leveled up my heavy, so every time my heavy guy targets somebody, they're -1 to hit now.
Yeah, suppressing fire.
So now I don't even, as an orc, I don't even need to actually hit anybody to be super effective.
Which is good as an orc, because, I mean...
Yeah. Well, the Luda could, if there was enough guys bunched together, could make 6 guys -1 to hit. Which would be just hilarious.
No one's laughing.
I am.
Yeah.
He is. Well, he's just screaming, firing his death gun. But coupled with these abilities are... No, they're not called stratagems.
Tactics?
They're called tactics, because we're on a tactical level.
Yep.
So these are basically they're stratagems.
Yes.
They're 100% stratagems.
They
and
use command points.
We totally missed how command points are generated.
I think, and like you said last podcast, it is a great way to do it.
It's Sigmar's. Yeah, it's Sigmar's way of doing it.
So basically, you start with 1 command point every turn, and if your leader is still alive, you get an extra command point every turn.
Yeah, there's other ways to add to that.
You also can get an extra command point if you are 10 points less than your opposing force. So say you took a couple extra less models, you can get an extra command point. So basically, let's say normally you're starting first turn with 2 command points, right? There are stratagems that tactics that cost 1, 2. I don't think there's anything that costs more than 2, but you're probably going to use them up in that first turn. You're going to go down to 0. Turn 2 starts. If your leader is alive, you get 2 command points back, right? And so basically, it's more of a consistent, like, hey, use these tactics throughout the game. Don't waste them all at the beginning, or not waste them all. Don't splurge at the beginning of the game, like 40k.
And you can save them up.
Yes. Yes.
Which I've found is actually really reliable if you have a plan to like
It's really good for
to
gotcha
pull
moments.
off a combo like turn 3 or 4 when you have 4. I've never saved up more than 4. Usually I'm able to save up 3 and then pop up some fun stuff. But
So there's a couple kind of universal tactics
Yep.
that everybody gets. Some like fight first, shoot first.
those are huge.
Auto pass.
Yeah.
Auto pass morale is important.
The biggest one that I find really, I think, better than 40k is the universal reroll. You know, in 40k you have the universal reroll anything, right?
No, that one's
reroll
stupid.
1 dice.
Yeah.
So in Kill Team, yours is, it says you can reroll these specific rolls.
Thank
and that
goodness.
includes, you know, saves, hit rolls, wounds. James, do you have it there?
Yeah, it's advanced rolls, charge roll, psychic test, deny the witch test, hit roll, wound roll, saving roll, injury roll, and nerve tests.
Yeah.
So deny the witches 2d6.
No,
So
you
you
reroll
roll-
one die.
No.
Nope.
This
Oh
rerolls
yeah, no,
everything.
yeah, you're right. Same
This
thing
is-
with charge roll.
Yeah.
Jesus.
This is basically saying for anything, you're never re-rolling just a single dice. You're re-rolling all the dice that are involved in that roll.
Yeah.
And other things that are important is this can never re-roll the amount of hits that you get on, say, a flamer weapon.
Yep.
Yeah.
There are a
Dangerous
couple of,
terrain tests.
yeah, there are a couple other things that you can't always you can't re-roll at
Can't
all.
do disgusting resilient.
Nope.
Can't do like there's a whole bunch of little things like that in 40k you should not be able to reroll,
Yeah.
and no one's ever going to argue that you can seize the reroll seize the initiative with this thing. Like,
I love this because it's clear. It's
Yep.
like these are the things you can do. We think that these are the things that this tactic should affect.
Yeah.
Super clear. Awesome.
And we talked about James's hypothetical sniper duel there.
Yeah.
If you have an abundance of command points in the shooting phase, and your opponent doesn't, and it's not your initiative, you can pop 2 command points and fire your sniper first.
Yeah.
Which is huge. Because that gets some fun stuff going where you're like, I don't want to re-roll that armor save because I need to shoot first, or I need to attack in combat first. Which is a lot of fun. A lot of the actually all the specialists have their own special stratagems, and a lot of them actually involve moving out of order
Yes.
for attacking,
out of
which-
phase attacking or out of phase shooting.
which is super
Yeah.
cool as well.
The thing that I don't like, and this is a little bit about more of the marketing and game packaging, is that they provide the book, and the book has a great selection of universal and faction-specific tactics as
Yeah.
well as specialist-specific tactics.
Yeah.
However, if you're going to buy the Kill Team sets that, Death Watch Kill Team set with a little bit of terrain and a Death Watch bunch, you're also going to get some Death Watch-specific tactics as cards in there.
Yeah, they're all available online.
Yes, absolutely. But I don't like it in the sense that I know there's always people who are sticklers for people who have the cards there or
Yeah.
whatnot. Fine, I know some tournaments are like that, but that to me is more like a pay to win or pay to like experience the game.
It's a paywall. It's a paywall.
These things should be like, yeah, you're buying models, you're buying terrain, sure. You
It's
can pay for
it's a
that.
great deal, but it's again one of those things where it's like, look, if I have a full army, I don't need an extra squad.
No,
Yeah,
and you shouldn't have to buy something to get a couple extra rules. I shouldn't have to buy anything to get extra rules. Our rules should be universal because we're playing the game together.
Yeah,
But-
I think soon we're gonna see like orc cards, and it's just gonna have everything.
Yeah.
with orc theme stuff.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope
my,
so.
my biggest problem too is that like I bought the orc set just because like I wanted the terrain and stuff, but I'm paranoid about losing those cards.
Why?
Because then no one will believe you.
I know, right? I'll never be able to prove it. It's gonna be awful.
Yeah. But anyways, the tactics are cool. The command point generation is great.
Yep.
So that last comment goes nicely into the next one, which is the opportunity for expansions, which we've already seen 2,
Two.
which is super
Rogue
cool.
Trader and Commanders.
Yes.
Yeah. So Rogue Trader, huge fan of. Like, I hope I get paired up against somebody who's playing one of those 2. They're 2 new factions, right?
Yep.
Gellerpox Infected and the
Ventrillus or-
Void
Void-
Striders, Voidsman.
no, but that's
No,
they're
they're Void
the
Stalkers or whatever.
Star something.
Star Striders.
Star Striders.
There we
That's
go.
the Void
Yeah.
Striders. Yeah.
I like how
Lucidia Star Strider or
There, yeah.
Lucidia
Illucidian.
something or other.
I like how everyone had like a piece of
Is
that.
it Euclidean?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it Euclidean Star Striders?
Whatever, man. Potato.
Yeah. Did you ever get Euclid's Sea Finder in Fallout New Vegas?
No.
Did you ever play Fallout New Vegas?
I played the hell out of Fallout in Vegas.
So if you activate the solar panel array to turn it into the Archimedes weapon,
Yeah.
You have to get the fake looking laser gun, and you can
Yeah.
call down directed sun
Nuclear
strikes
strikes,
on
yeah.
people. It's hilarious.
Yeah, pretty dope. This game facts brought to you by Fallout New Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really glad we're staying on topic.
So you haven't played any of the Rogue Trader missions?
No,
right?
I haven't played it. No.
So-
I know the board is its own thing. It's
Yeah,
really cool.
they have infinite height in it, where you actually have cave systems or on a
Nice.
vessel.
Yeah. So we one of my games we played, Victor had the rule set, and he just we set up basically the Zone Mortalis walls and with
Nice.
doors. Like doors are key because the doors take an action open. You can contest that action if another model's on the other side.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an
very
opposed
cool.
rule.
Very
Okay.
very cool. But it does change up the game, right? I
Yep.
mean, like you're playing in these confined spaces. My Death Watch did not do well against Victor's Gene Stealers in that because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like put some melee weapons on my Death Watch, but no, it just doesn't.
Well, if you've seen Alien 1, 2, or 3, then you should have been ready for that. Like,
It was awesome. I had a great time in that game, but yeah, did not. But I mean,
Or
again, just,
Resurrection.
yeah. Anything with Alien in it, really.
the rate at which they're coming out with these expansions is I would say a little bit too fast. I'm curious to see what comes after Commander. I'm curious to see if this is like, there's a breathing room.
Yeah, I've noticed that with Games Workshop lately too. Is that they're not letting people enjoy and it doesn't make sense from a financial standpoint either. They're not letting people like get the enjoyment out of the game. Like wait like 4 or 5 months, then hit them with something brand new. So like when the interest starts to trail off, then it's a new game-changing thing.
It's like they're doing it the exact opposite of how they done the codices, right? Like, I mean, I was waiting for my Space Wolf Codex for so long that my interest is like just out the door. But
You're not
now
true-
they're like
not a true believer.
flooding me at the beginning, and I find it strange to complain about either of those or both of those at the same time.
Well, I mean, the thing is, too, that if you, depending on what sort of paradigm you're going with that, like, they can go with the fact that, like, they're advertising Kill Team. Mm-hmm. So if they release an expansion, all of the advertising they spent on Kill Team is also advertising they're spending on the expansion. So on that sense, like, I can see where they're coming from, but
They're also, I mean, they're packaging up these boxes for Kill Team, right? Where it has your Kill Team orcs plus some terrain plus some rules and some cards. Now they've got the Commander box, which is the Commander that is and some
some
other
cards.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so they're because it is probably a
well, they have
you're
to-
buying less. Individual people are buying less, even if it's a more accessible product. Individual people are buying less, so maybe they need to put more products out there, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they need to have more purchase points, kind of consistently, rather than
All at once?
Yeah.
That's exactly my point.
They do have to
right?
worry
Like,
about market saturation and fatigue from this, but
well, like even now in our campaign, we're having the conversation, do we include this new stuff?
yeah.
Right? Like, just let us play with the stuff you've given us for a bit before you start throwing new stuff.
Admittedly,
Yeah.
we started late. If we jumped on the bandwagon immediately when this came out, we would have been playing for it with long enough. But
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is like if you look at the way they released it, like the Star Striders are their own thing, which I think that's the best way to do it. Introducing a new faction, that's awesome. The Commanders, to me, like they have their own points limit increases. They have their own structure and
They're
everything.
changing the game.
Yeah, it feels like the Commanders thing is very much like, for me at any rate, it feels like it's narrative. Like it 100% is.
I haven't played any Commanders games yet. I would like to see how that comes out. But I mean, like you guys said, if we're looking at a 200-point game,
It's a 200-point game, and one side is supposed to have Commanders and the other one isn't.
Yeah, it doesn't fit into an overall campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
A match
just-
play campaign.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there's a campaign structure, which is not very good.
No, it's a
I still don't know what intelligence is. Or resources.
It's a
Okay.
number. It's a number that you can't let hit zero.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
all it is.
Do you guys have all your intelligence?
Yep.
Not right now. I have 8, 8, 8, and 7 in something. I can't remember. What
How'd you
it is.
lose something?
I lost
You
my
lose a
first
game.
game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some games, depending on the mission, either you gain or your opponent loses.
Okay. I haven't gotten anything. I just forced my opponent to lose stuff.
I think it's great that they're providing a structure for you to play a campaign, whatever. Rules are in general better than no rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, there are some gaps that they probably could have put a little bit of more time and effort into.
Yeah.
Big gaps.
One of the ones that I find really frustrating is just the fact that I this might be like a planned mechanic, but I have a Death Watch kill team. My general liddeds come out to like 96 points, right? When I have a specialist level up, every specialist level costs 4 points, right?
Yeah.
So I can have one specialist that is level 2, and that's 100 points. After that, I have to literally drop a 20-point model before I can bring anybody else.
Yep.
Maybe just take it out with a bolter.
That means I got to model a bolter.
Yeah.
But no, you're right.
Yeah.
But it's more of like I would wish that there was a little bit more guidance around, hey, or even just a paragraph or something saying like, hey, we realize that as you progress through the campaign, some teams may get a couple people who are leveled up, and you're going to have to pay more points, right?
Yeah.
Like we advise you to play, your X number of games at like this point level or whatever, just to accommodate that, or maybe even state if they didn't want that.
Yeah, no, I get it, because like those abilities when you get up to level 2 and level 3 they're huge.
Mm-hmm.
There's some pretty game changing abilities in there that are definitely worth the points.
Yeah. But it's also like my problem with it is that if you look at the campaign rules, it says you can replace whatever specialist you want at whatever time. Like if you can show up to a game with a whole new set. Doesn't matter. Like you can just.
I don't like that.
No, I don't, because like, look, if my guys are in convalescence, right? Like if I want there to be consequences.
There should
right?
be persistence. There should be consequences. I shouldn't be able to bring in John Smith 2.0 and John Smith 3.0 once I level up those John Smiths to like not be able to fit in my kill team anymore.
Yeah, you can just replace them out. You know, send them back to Professor Oak or whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
grind them up into candy.
Yeah,
you know.
But yeah, I mean that's kill team, and I mean we've all played a bunch of games at this point, which is super awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
So why don't we each pick one of our favorite games and go over our kill team, our opponent's kill team, the mission, and just what we learned from that game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go first, James.
All right.
Actually, hold on, you guys. Yeah, go first, James.
Okay, so I'm actually playing two different. Like in the league, I'm playing Harlequins, and Harlequins are the worst kill team. So I'm not going to talk about any of those games.
Clarify that.
They are. If you play Harlequins, you're a bad person, and you should feel bad because it's just ugh.
I'll fight. So why is this, James?
It's just like, hey, you remember all those rules about terrain? You don't have to obey them. Your opponent does. Like, it's just, yeah.
So Harlequin's flip belts basically let them move through terrain if it wasn't there. So they can move up a level. They can go through terrain. Basically, for the person who they're playing against, they have to play as if they have terrain, and the other and the Harlequin player can just walk through it. They can jump over it.
They got fact.
Yeah.
For what?
For that doesn't apply anymore.
What?
The flip belt thing in the book.
Oh.
Yeah.
So so yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk about them. I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about orcs, because orcs are amazing, and the fact that they can actually like be good in a competitive environment in a 40K related is great. And the game I'm going to talk about very specifically was a 3-way game. It was the first game I played, and the reason why it was the best is because we had this crazy board, because I got all that Necromunda terrain, right? So we set up this crazy board with multiple levels. And I forget how that game went, but I remember I won, but just like no one cared at the end, because the most amazing, cinematic, disgustingly awesome part was I had this commando knob who's a combat specialist with a power claw. So he's got 4 attacks, crazy, and even better, he's modeled as a looted gene stealer. Right, just running at these 2 chaos dudes, right? So declare charge, right? And he retreated, and the way he retreated was he jumped off the gantry he was on and fell 2 floors. So, like, I mean, from a rules point of view, like, it's a pretty good strategy. From a cinematic point of view, they see this crazy, like, stupid orc contraption, and they're like, nope, and they just jump off the back.
Yeah.
And the stupid orc contraption runs over, jumps off the cliff after them, lands and takes a wound.
That's cool. I mean, the
was
fact that
so good.
they have rules for jumping, they have rules for falling.
Yeah.
And
They
great.
have
It's
rules
great.
for like, hey, if you've seen it in an action movie, you're gonna do it. Like
Yeah.
that was my favorite game, and not even like the rest of the game. That one part of the game, like that was incredible, and that's what Kill Team is to me.
Yeah.
Stop tapping the table, James.
Right, that's what Kill Team is to me. I'm gesturing above the table. That's terrible podcasting.
You just we have to like get you out of your hand talking.
No, you need to get me a cat. All right, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a bunch. I've played some Gene Stealers. I've played both of you guys with Orcs. I played Grey Knights, Drukari.
Yeah, that wonderful game against Harlequins.
So yeah, the thing is that I actually kind of want to talk about that game. Not because it was my favorite game, but
It's
because
the worst game.
it makes you think, right? Like
Okay.
what happened at the end is so James had his Harlequins. They charged like I had my Death Watch. I kind of like castled them up and like
No, you did everything right.
I put everything kind of on some. Well, no. Here's the thing: is that I put everything on some terrain to like crates to kind of put them up high, get some good shooting lanes. I was anticipating you doing your regular 7-inch, 8-inch movement,
8-inch movement
plus
3d6
3d6 charge, right?
Yep.
And you can declare within anything within 18.
Yep.
So, I was expecting this. As you came in, you wiped out a couple of my dudes. I was able to kind of maneuver them around. But I was actually probably doing way more tactical stuff in that game because I was learning the intricacies of falling back from you pulling in, how I'm going to bait a charge or get a charge with this dude, fall him back, shoot with the next dude, and kind of like stagger my layers.
Yep.
I learned a lot from that. Near the end, I mean, you still ended up winning because we had one. I had a Infernus Heavy Bolter
Yep.
model, and you had one player left.
Yep.
And we basically went through the like fallback. I'm gonna overwatch you on when you charge to you jumping around behind a corner where I can't see you and then charging through that anyways.
Yes.
Right? So that part wasn't as great. It felt unfun because you were playing as the rules were.
Yeah.
But the rules didn't really like
It's dumb. It
was dumb.
Yeah.
But my favorite part about that was that it challenged me to like think about how I'm going to do that, right? It was a tough thing that I had to overcome, and I'm still thinking about the best ways to kind of counter it, but it was, I don't know. I found it to be a challenge that was like motivating rather than it was discouraging at the time, but it was motivating after the fact.
So I'm gonna counter that with the fact is, as your opponent, I screwed up twice in my movement phases. Like I threw people out into the middle of nowhere, just getting shot up by heavy bolters. I failed a bunch of charges. I couldn't kill the dudes with storm shields, and I still won. So you played everything right? You played incredibly tactically. You played super hard thinking about your tactics, and I just kind of did whatever, and it was still you were on the back foot.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean
that's my issue.
No, and I get that, I appreciate the compliments. I think it's a compliment. I'm
Okay,
not sure.
well I don't know. I could keep going. Your beard's amazing.
I appreciate it, but
No,
I think I think you're absolutely right. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that it's necessarily fair. I think that it will get changed eventually, but it's important to, I don't know. I find it to be a challenge rather than
Yeah,
anything
no,
else.
it's good for, like, again, if you like the challenge, it's great, but I just think for the health of competitive kill team, if you will, it's not great. It's kind of a blind spot for them.
Yep,
But
definitely. I just think that when everybody else has a part of the game that is so important that matters, i.e. terrain, and one faction completely, literally ignores it by the definition of the rules.
And they just ignore it in the movement phase or all the time?
all the
All
time,
phases.
because think about it, the movement phase is when you charge.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's,
no,
a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
But I was reading over because the fact what they did, so I'm not going to go through what they originally did, but the important thing is now they actually pay attention to difficult terrain.
Oh, good.
So you
Good.
have
let's make some difficult terrain.
Yeah, no, 100%. Put some rubble field, man. Like we gotta get that stuff on lockdown because otherwise the space clowns are just dumb.
Yeah. What about you? I mean, like you've played a bunch of games.
Ooh, there you
What's
go.
this?
Treacherous Waters. It's an export stout from Indie Ale House.
like I said, I've been playing a lot of Black Flag, so...
Oh, it's it's dark. It's
Yeah.
brown.
This is treacherous.
I have no idea how this is going to be.
How's the front?
Front's good.
back?
Back's nice. Back's nice. Back's got a good stout, kind of like...
Good stout?
Yeah. Mm.
It's a stout?
Yeah.
The stoutiest. Yeah, just
Ooh.
a hint of soy sauce. It's great.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, what have you found to
Yeah.
be your favorite game or the game that you learned the most from?
Game I learned the most fun I played Dustin's Militarum Tempestus kill team. And going into that, I thought I was going to be screwed. So I play orcs as well, but I play with a lot of commandos. So my list is a commando boss knob as my leader, who I'm very aggressive with because
That's how you do them.
he's super good. I've got a combat specialist boss knob with a big choppa. Super great.
You got to get a scorcher on that thing, man.
It's a lot of points. I've got one modeled up. I'm going to figure that thing out.
Yeah.
Then I run a Luda as my heavy specialist and a mech with a custom Mega Blasta. Not the optimal choice.
Nope.
But it's hilarious when he hits. It's basically a plasma gun that's always overcharged. And it's so much fun because there's been a couple
Makes sense
times
for
where he
orcs.
has hit.
Oh.
And it just is like, how much damage? 3.
Yeah, but has he blown himself up yet?
No.
Oh.
Never. He's never blown himself up. And then I run a bunch of commandos and a bunch of guys with big shooters.
Yeah, because him hitting and him blowing himself up are the same odds.
Yeah. It's true. So I was playing Dustin, so he was running very heavy weapon, special weapon heavy and heavy weapons. Militarum Tempestus with 3 sniper guys. And his snipers were just on point, because when snipers rolled a wound, if they roll a 6, it's a mortal wound.
Yep.
He took out like my 3 shooting guys really quick. So like they were able to kill a couple sniper guys, but it really taught me the value of command points. Because when it basically came down to it, it was like the last shooting phase, and there was the 2 snipers left. I had like my 1 Luda. I was able to double fire the Luda, and it killed both of them.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh my god, because I gave the Luda +1 to hit, so I was hitting on 5s, and I was just getting lots of shots off. And I was just hyper aggressive with the commando, so I wasn't like waiting back. I was just like, okay, guess what? There's 4 guys in your face that you're all -2 to hit, because that's the commando special rule.
Yep.
Shoot me.
Yeah.
And he missed. He shot at some other stuff. Imperial Guard are not good in combat, and 4 Tempestus Scions charged in. It was the take prisoners one. Have you ever played that one where you actually have to kill someone in the fight phase?
Yep.
So he charged them in, and then he gave them an order, all 4 of them, to fix bayonets, which means they all got to fight immediately.
Ooh.
And they all tried to stab this commando to death, and he survived, and then just killed 2 of them and took the 3rd one hostage, which was great.
Yeah.
But it taught me the value of command points and stratagems. It was very much like saving up those command points to get the decisive shot off, because the snipers versus the big shooters duel was hilarious. Just having, like, I know people like orc ballistic skill sucks, but
No, man.
they're consistently hitting.
Yeah.
They may not be wounding, but they're consistently hitting.
Well, the thing is, they, like, the whole always hitting on 6s, that's huge.
Yeah.
Because,
So,
like,
yeah. So I dig the orc kill team. There's some dirtier stuff that I can do that I'm going to start subbing into our campaign. So I've got a knob with a Scorcha that I'm definitely going to take. And then, like you were talking about earlier, with kind of like the boxed stratagems, there's one for a new orc stratagem for 1 point that allows a burner boy to do D6 shots instead of D3 shots.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I'm definitely gonna take a burner boy with a demolition
Nice.
specialist in there as well.
So what you really want to do, I've seen someone take the orc knob with the Scorcha as their heavy specialist.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you have the orc stratagem where you can fire twice with 1 dude. So you put that on the Scorcha. Then you give him an extra shot, so it's now D6 +1 twice in your shooting phase. And you can also, there's another stratagem that lets you overwatch twice too.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. It's really
Well,
good.
that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's only an 8-inch range. But like no,
That's
like,
a lot in Kill Team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
it is. It is.
The good thing
And it's an
though-
assault weapon,
Yeah.
which is super helpful as well.
Yeah. But the good thing about Orcs is like again, they have some stuff that's really cool and all that, but they're not breaking anything.
No,
Yeah.
they're a ton of fun to play.
Yeah. With and against.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The 6-up save kind of hurts. But yeah, the key with them is it just hug, like commandos, especially the -2 when you're obscured. So good.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah.
No, I know. It sucks.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the other thing too is the other game we had where it was Orcs versus Deathwatch. Like, that was a game.
Yeah.
Like that was definitely like you just left
you-
that flank open.
Yeah, I know, but you were playing the objectives and I wasn't.
Well, the other thing too is like again a wounded grot taking out one of your dudes
That was hilarious.
in shooting.
I'm so glad I saw that happen.
Yeah,
I
but
wasn't.
like yeah, you're,
Yeah.
that's how that game went.
Yeah. I think it's great. I mean, the Kill Team itself is a great game. Lots of awesome rules. There are some things that don't make a lot of sense. They could really flesh out the campaign stuff.
Wait, would you say there's some things that cause a ludonarrative dissonance?
Perhaps.
Can you say it?
I said I wouldn't on this podcast. There's got to be one where I can't.
Okay.
But no, I think it's just like it is a good game. I got maybe it was because I played like 7 games this weekend, right? 5 on the Saturday against shout out to Chase, the guy who came just like looking for a game at Sword and Board. It's awesome that you can just bring your kill team in your backpack, like you said, come and find some people and play a game. Really cool. He brought his Grey Knights and his Drukhari, and it's just nice to be able to come and play with a bunch of people. But 5 games on that Saturday, 2 games on the Sunday. I'm a little burnt out.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because the kill team isn't that big, right? So you're playing with the same models all the time. I still want to find my strategy. Like I can definitely improve in a lot of that stuff, but I don't know. How do you guys feel about the staying power of your? Are you going to be excited about your army after playing it, or sorry, your kill team after playing it 10, 20 times?
I think so. I will be building a Chaos Space Marine one. Chaos Space Marines are the worst kill team in the game.
I heard like a cultist mob is not bad if you.
Yeah, it's not fun. That's not fun. Yeah. I don't want a cultist mob. I want noise marines, man.
Yeah. So one thing
I will be using them.
Yeah.
Obviously,
They just will not have noise weapons.
Yeah.
Obviously.
One thing I will touch on though is that I really like what's the opposite of ludonarrative dissonance?
like when you have rules that match the gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the things are, I don't know. I feel like it's some kind of.
Ludo narrative harmony.
There you
go.
There
Yeah.
you go. That's totally what it is.
So I really like the ludonarrative harmony that's apparent in Kill Team because the fact of the matter is, Deathwatch Kill Teams feel like they're basically Marines, but they got a ton of really cool toys, and that's what makes them good. If you play against the Primaris, for example, they're really beefy. Like, they're hard to take down because they have 2 wounds each. They have the transhuman physiology, but they don't have a lot of special weapons.
Yeah.
Like, they got bolters and pistols. So,
Yeah.
and
Taking Auspex, which is pretty good.
yeah, but again, they play the way they feel they should.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is why I'm surprised you don't take bolters, because Deathwatch bolters are amazing.
Yeah.
It's because I'm going to model one dude up. I just haven't yet.
No, fair enough.
Yeah. I'm just.
Because they're the best part of the Deathwatch book, because it's just a bolter that's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And free.
Oh yeah, and if you take an intercessor with it, then it's a -3 sometimes.
Yes.
On a bolter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Which is
then,
just
like,
awesome.
Yeah, and then the Chaos Marines, like the ones that I've played against, it feels very much they're just regular Marines. They're nothing to write home about. But then they have the God powers, and it's like that's
God powers?
they have marks. They have marks for them.
They have icons, and
Yeah.
the Slanesh one is only good against Imperium.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
well,
that's the thing.
the other ones,
Yes.
like they need work, but they definitely feel like Marines with God powers.
Yep.
Like that's what they're supposed to feel like. Like even the Thousand Sons, it's just Marines, but they got sorcerers. You know, like
And a 2-up armor save.
on the automatons, yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, that's how it's supposed to feel. So I like that in the sense where it's like,
Yeah, a lot of factions feel like the way they're supposed to play.
Yeah.
And you play them the way you play them to their strengths. I think they've
Yep.
done a really good job of capturing the
yeah,
the feel of the faction for each one.
Yeah.
I want to play Necrons. I've heard they're brutal because on a flesh wound roll of a 6, they just come back with full wounds.
Yep.
Yep. But again, if you look at the rest of their stuff, it's like it's nothing to write home about. But they're never gonna stop.
Nope, which is super cool. So
Yeah.
that's Yeah. Any final words on Kill Team?
You should play Kill Team.
You should play Kill Team.
I think
I
so,
think it's gonna be.
too.
I think it's gonna be around for a while.
Yeah, you should play Kill Team, but don't play Harlequins.
I think people should play Kill Team. I want to see people make their own Kill Team boards and use this not only as a starting point to try new armies and do some converting. The things that I love, I want more people to convert. I want them to like get into that aspect of the hobby. Try it, play around with it, but also from like a terrain aspect, make a Kill Team board, right? Play with some terrain. Put lots of terrain on there. Then put lots of terrain on your 40k board. Like do this. Like use this as a leaping point to learn better ways to play the game. I don't know. I just play Kill Team.
Yeah, I want to see some really cool Kill Team boards. Like I want to see someone like just straight up model a ship. Or
Yeah,
like,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be super sweet.
Or like the inside. Oh, the inside of a Stampa.
Hey, those are great ideas.
Oh.
Easy now.
Okay.
All right, cool.
All right.
So hang on for this break and then some spooky stories.
Spooky.
Battle Brothers Studios is a commission painting studio in Toronto, Canada. We want you to walk into the battlefield looking your best. So, if you're having trouble getting all your minis painted, or are in a big rush to get some stuff done for that next event, then let us know. Facebook.com/Battle Brothers Studios for a free quote, and inquire also about our 2018 deals. This year, running a 10% discount on any new release item from any miniature company. That's pretty cool, so send us a message. Hello everybody, this is Adam,
And I'm Jay,
and we are in Counter Wargaming.
and we wanted to celebrate hitting our 1,500 subscribers and give back to all of you who helped us get here.
Super exciting. So we call this the 2,500 subscriber Forgebane giveaway.
That's right, because we're giving away a Forgebane box.
Woohoo!
But in order to give it away, we have to hit our 2,500 subscriber goal.
Makes sense. All right, so first things first, share this.
Share the podcast with your friends.
Share our videos.
Yeah.
Share anything you want. So there you go. Multiple ways to enter.
Right.
Number 1.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Woohoo! That'll get you 1 entry. Number 2, follow on Twitch for 1 more entry.
Also, you can support us on our Patreon campaign, and that'll get you 5 entries.
Wow. All right. And hey,
Crazy.
guess what? If you subscribe on Twitch, you get 5 more entries.
Damn. And lastly, for all of you who are listening to the podcast right now, go on and leave us a review, and we'll get you 1 more entry.
Bonus. Guys, this is a big thank you for all the support that you have given us over the last couple years.
Absolutely. Thanks to everyone out there for making this a wild ride for us. Hopefully we can give one of these boxes to one of you lucky people.
Sweet. Hey, remember to share, and we will see you at our next encounter.
It's spooky time. James, what'd you open?
I opened a Giviets.
That's not a craft beer.
I know.
I think Paul would say it's a Javits.
Yeah, but he's not here.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. All right. So, since the beginning, Giviet's beer has been brewed in only one place, the Archduke's Brewery in Giviets. When it comes to beer, we are uncompromising. This is why Giviets is brewed exclusively from 3 ingredients: malted barley, hops, and pure mountain spring water. Giviets. Always from Giviets. Always from Giviets.
How does it ferment if there's no yeast in it?
Giviets. Always from Giviets.
I don't know, maybe they get some like natural air yeast or bread or I don't know.
Don't question the Giviets.
I won't.
That would still be an ingredient. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Yeah, this is the part of the podcast where our friend Nick Coslow reads a story from Toronto history to his friends Nick and James, who have no idea what the story's about, right?
There are bodies buried in High Park.
Yeah, Nick, we know.
Before the turn of the century, there are reports of impoverished families who took to the forests, concealing bodies of stillborn children and other lost family members.
We should ask Raph about this.
Funeral expenses were unobtainable. Nights were dark, winters were long and cold. In an effort to patrol such injustices, security was added. On a hot day in July of 1882, a Hyde Park constable named John Albert fatally shot a teenage boy who was illegally boating in Grenadier Pond. He was illegally boating.
He fatally shot him?
Fatally shot him.
It's really good that the police
His
don't do that anymore.
His companions scattered and summoned the police. Albert was found guilty of murder and sentenced to hang that autumn.
Exactly, like the way that it usually happens, right?
Wow.
In 1921, just outside of the park, 8 skeletons coated in a red powdery substance were found in a seated position, arranged in a circle and buried deep within a sandy ridge. Nearby were several smaller skeletons clearly identifiable as children. Experts confirm these remains as the Red Ochre, indigenous peoples who had been living in the area between 2500 BC to 800 AD. It was a thrilling find in its day and time.
It's pretty impressive.
I think so. And there are ghost stories about Hyde Park.
Ooh.
Most popular are tales of the Grenadier soldiers. Scholars insist that there is no historical record proving soldiers have ever marched, boated, or even been present in Hyde Park. Yet there are many testimonies of seeing spirit soldiers. Some say red coats, others say all dressed in black. The only existing story of any soldiers in Hyde Park was when military training exercises were held there during World War I, but no lives were lost.
So, how do they call it Grenadier Pond then?
I don't know. It wasn't a pond until recently.
It's not the part I'm talking about, Nick.
Isn't it just named after John Grenadier or something? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, inventor of the Grenadier, apparently.
No, one of the it's not in this particular story, but one of the stories is that some British soldiers embarked on a suicidal charge against American forces during the Battle of York, and fell through the ice. But that doesn't make any sense because the Battle of York didn't happen in the winter.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say
Yes,
then we
so-
found the soldiers that died up there apparently. Like,
Yeah. So that doesn't make sense. So in 1903, the Toronto Star ran a story about many people witnessing a horseman and stag emerging from the waters of Grenadier Pond, and then urban folklore had the phantom traveling through most of Parkdale. Another Toronto Star article dated 1913 stated that police were alerted after several eyewitnesses saw a phantom coming out from the pond's swampy depths. 2 weeks later, in the back of the paper, a follow-up story revealed that local pranksters with flashlights had been caught.
They had flashlights in 1913?
Yeah, they'd be called torches.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. There's still a disconnect between where it's like teenagers and flashlights. How do you mistake that for a dude riding a horse?
Dude, they didn't have TV back then.
Oh, fair enough.
They're probably all doped up on opium or something.
Yeah.
And Hyde Park has had many tragedies. In 1947, the bodies of Iris Scott and her lover George Vigas were found in the trunk of a car parked along Lover's Lane. Decades later, researchers from the TV series The Fifth Estate were given a tip that identified Edward Alonzo Boyd as their murderer. Decades later. That's insane.
Fifth Estate. Nice work, CBC.
Toronto's first chief of police, John Chisholm, who lived nearby on Indian Grove, just down the street from us here,
Wait,
was
John
found
Chisholm?
dead in 1958. He parked his car and shot himself in the head with his service revolver.
Wow. Was it because everyone kept making fun of his last name?
Chisholm?
Yeah.
That's a common name.
Yeah, no, don't worry. Keep going.
In 1969, a patrolling police officer called in that
Irrelevant
he...
Chisholm.
You're definitely never coming back on the podcast now. And in 1969, a patrolling police officer called in that he himself saw a woman in the upstairs bedroom at Colburn Lodge. A search found no one on the premises. Paranormal researchers contend that the apparition was the lingering spirit of Jemima Howard.
Ooh.
Aunt
yeah.
Jemima?
Miss Howard died in the exact room, painfully, slowly, as she'd succumbed to breast cancer.
Oh.
Many lives have been lost in the park as a result of misadventure and death by suicide. There's been a frightful many of stalkings and sexual assaults over the decades. A particularly brutal incident happened during the summer of 1982 when a young woman barely survived a repeated bludgeoning with a brick. But most horrifically, a group of teenage boys beat a 40-year-old man to death, a gay bashing gone horribly wrong.
Wait, how does a gay bashing go right?
I'm pretty sure they don't mean to kill anybody.
Yeah.
But there are peaceful lingering energies too. There are literally thousands of reverent sights from scattered cremains and buried ashes. They're the gentle breezes that grace the beauty of the land. Not too long ago, Water Snake Mound, a 3,000-year-old native burial site, was damaged unknowingly by punk BMX bicycle enthusiasts. I added the punk. For that one.
Thanks, old man Coslow.
However, the First Nations that are still in the area today met with local authorities, and measures were taken to correct this desecration. Forgiveness was ceremoniously asked from the spirit world, and we'll assume that it was accepted and honored.
Yeah, that's all you can do is assume.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. It's not the worst we've done.
Every life spent leaves an energy pattern: turmoil, angst, pleasure, joy. So many combined emotions have been left behind in High Park, and they scatter softly in the wind and emanate distinctly from the soil. The park is literally teeming with the souls of mankind, because High Park is most definitely haunted. So as the cold, crisp days of October slowly end, and the coldness of November that prepares us for the winter sets in, remember that the lingering spirits of persons past join the forest and all of the park in its seasonal end, lingering gently, only to eventually disappear.
Is this from like an anti-High Park website or something?
No, it's from Community Captured, which is just a local blog.
The fact that they're just like, oh yeah, assaults and like rapes and stuff have been just like, you know,
Well, it was.
frequently occurring in High Park seems a little hyperbolic.
Well, no, High Park was like the gay cruising area in Toronto during the 80s when it was still illegal.
Yeah, well, the links between that and my previous comment are non-existent, Nick.
No, I'm saying that the things like the gay bashings and stuff only
Right.
make sense to have there.
Right.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always like it is now. Like, it used to be very much like a wooded wasteland.
Really?
There
Yeah.
was the witching circle there for the longest time.
The Witching Circle, there is actually a big link between a Wiccan town in New York State and High Park. And in fact, one of the weird metal sculptures along the dog trail is a Wiccan statue that they perform ceremonies at every year.
Oh,
Cool.
the square one.
The square one, there is a actual cemetery from the old city. Do you know where the duck pond is? Yeah,
Yes.
around there is an actual cemetery.
See, the interesting thing is, both the Wiccan statue and the duck pond, both Pokestops.
Both what?
Both Pokestops in Pokemon Go.
Okay. Cool. But yeah,
Just
so
so you know.
the main ghost story that everyone knows about High Park is the grenadiers falling in the water and drowning.
Yeah. Which.
But there's no historical record of that happening.
Yeah.
Aside from the ghost stories. Like,
Yes.
I mean,
are-
any kind of like large wooded space in the center of a metropolis. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
you're
it's
gonna
going to
have-
cause some. It's going to have some stories around it.
Yeah.
It's not going to stop me. I'm still going to go hang out in High Park.
Yeah, man.
Maybe I'll even do it at the nighttime.
I don't know.
I think it'd be fun.
I'm still gonna walk my dog in High Park, but not at night because coyotes.
Also
Much-
ghosts.
Also ghosts.
I mean,
And perhaps those skeletons.
And skeletons.
spooky, scary skeletons.
Ghost skeletons.
Boogums.
No.
Okay. No boogums.
But yes, High Park is haunted.
Ooh.
Ooh!
Well.